All right, we are into the best of the action. Nuke, Inferno, and Overpass, the three maps to separate these two lineups, and it will be Team 500 starting over on the CT side of Nuke, as LDLC not looking to waste any time here whatsoever, charging into the ramp room early, chewing on the HEs as a result. Dennyslaw trying to fall back, trying to give himself a new position to work with, but they have had to concede this ramp control, and LDLC now with a little bit of breathing room, started a headshot, peek these corners. Rainwaker up for the first, needs a lot more where that came from, and he taps away for three. Buys his team all the time in the world, as Amanek and Slobling have got to try and get this bomb down and try and manipulate themselves into some kind of an afterplant here, but Snobling already taking peeks, punished by ships. And at this point, I mean, Amanek, what do you really do? Trying to sneak your way out of decon, see if maybe someone will show you ahead just to try and rip off. But with the only kill on his team so far, he's got a hell of a task ahead of him. Spotted out now as well. They'll start to close that gap. Dennyslaw playing relatively passive, of course, just being a bullet from death. But Ships has got him pinned in on either side. Two men peeking either corner. Ships looking to make the most of those extra bullets, as well as Amanek desperate to get anything he can, but it's not going to happen. Team 500 take the pistol, and Rainwaker with a little bit of magic to start it off as well. Lovely stuff, this. Just tapping away. This first headshot really critical as well. One peek he gets before he has to hit it, and lands it clean, and then repositions a little fortuitously, you will say, out to that left-hand side, as they all look to charge right over the top of that headshot angle for him. They won't care how they get them as long as the rounds keep on coming. Force buy in, no bomb plant though for LDLC. See the Tech 9s scraped out with the utility they need for an outside XM, as well as the wall of smokes go up. The problem is they've lost the bomb. Brewski will at least be able to grab one, and Snobling, close range Tech, looks for the double, and out of absolutely nowhere, LDLC are looking for the miracle round here. Dennyslaw trying to steady the ship. The man advantage still there though for the T side. Bomb yet to be planted is the only issue, and it allows Rainwaker a little more time. Thins those numbers just a little further as Dennyslaw looks to charge on in. Can't get the kill, but Rainwaker can. The quick double saves Team 500 their blushes. Very nearly gets out of control. As always, that Tech 9 T side, just an absolute monster to try and deal with up close and personal. The spam and pray really does work brutally. But Team 500 just about getting past this force by these antics from Snobling, very nearly turning the tide though. 2-0 start. Just the one rifle saved across for Team 500. You can see LDLC know it as well. Bomb plant in the second round. They're going to be more than happy to force this one up again, knowing they actually come into it with a equal firepower. I was going to say advantage, then I noticed Denny's already managed to get his AWP up, so we're not going to call it that. Handful of AKs. Galil's to back it up, and the Galil's open the account. They've missed the smokes. They don't throw them at all, and it gives Dennyslaw an opening. Able to trade his teammate's death as Ships on that XM continues to get work done. Rainwaker able to find a nice double on the lower side as well. And these individual anchors still working out well for the CT side. Snobling going to get that bomb down at the very least inside of the smoke to build up a little bit of economy, but Ships continuing to be a pain with that with that XM rather. Snobling grabs at least one more before the death of things, but Ships just a roaming nightmare on that XM. Grabs himself a double kill in this round and a nice little money maker. Grabs an AK as well. 3-0. 500 looking very clean. Now, you may wonder why I'm the only voice you're hearing at the moment. My co-caster's gone for a cup of tea right before this one started. So hopefully he will be back shortly. And just feel free to interrupt me, Dean, as and when you do arrive. LDLC's force buys will finally be interrupted as well. Despite that bomb plant coming into round 4, they've given it their all on the forces. This one has to be the half buy. Still plenty of venom in it, however. Those 4 Tech 9s, Snobling looking for the magic of a 1D to open this one up. As once again, it's the outside smokes to start things off, and once again, it's Ships XM through the hut to open the account. Patrick grabs a quick second, and at this point, it is just about farming away. Snobling able to grab at least one, but the problem is, again, Ships at this point is disposable. He's got 2 kills in the round with an XM. He's built up his bank quite nicely, thank you very much. He's dismantled any hope of a set play out of this T side. So if he goes down on his third kill, it's neither here nor there. Zamanek and Snobling try and plan some kind of a recovery. They are being flanked out all the while by Nicky, who's worked his way fully outside and is now working through the hut. Unfortunately for them, they try and challenge into Rainwaker, who's been up to it at pretty much every opportunity. Double digits already for him as he posts up 2 more to get to 10. And Team 500, I mean, it's been a very clean start to the map pick of LDLC to get a 4-0 nice and smooth. It's a great look. The question is, can they keep it up as for the first time we see the real full buy for LDLC? AWP in the hands of Divi. 4 AK-47s to back it up. What will the play be? Passive enough early on. Ships with that XM, of course. The usual spot. The boost up into the vents grabs Divi a freebie. And this was exactly the round to pull a little bit of magic out your back pocket as well. The boost through vents to heaven to pick off the AWPer. Exactly what was needed to start this round. The man advantage for the first time in a long time for LDLC. Now they'll look to leverage it. Working the outside control. Split into that lower site seems very likely at this point. Patrick having to hold half a dozen angles at once here. Ships at the very least has recovered the AWP. But as 3 of these T-side players start to pull a silent flank into heaven, the CTs, they have no information on outside at all. They've had nothing since the very start of this round. And as they look to pincer in through heaven, they're surely going to catch players looking completely the wrong way here. Ships inside of the site. They peek out of heaven. Patrick is good for the first reaction. Very fortunate to even get one. Snobling will put him and Ships down, however. And at this point, this round does feel like it should be falling by the wayside for Team 500. And indeed, as Gravity finds Nicky, that will be the case. Rainwaker, the ramp player, they know exactly where to look for him. And he is just going to be happy to hold on to his M4. A little bit of magic from LDLC to open their account here on Nuke. First round on the board. Not the most repeatable way to get around on your T side, we will say, you know, that magic Kevin boost. Not always going to catch the person there, catch the timing that you're after. Leaves you a little bit short-handed in other areas of map control, but good for one. Keeps Team 500 on their toes as well. Not going to be able to do too much about this now. They've got to try and be aware of the possibility they're going to pull that nonsense again. Ships once more. Sticking with that XM. I mean, it's 7-3 at the moment. Doing the job, and if it ain't broke, why fix it? LDLC looking for that fast outside control. Gravity legged up very early on in proceedings and actually caught by the USP of Denny on the fadeaway. Looked like he wanted to fake the same sort of wrap into that upper site initially. Now a man down. Instead, they're working around these outside smokes, throwing them to get garage control. Instead, pushing down into the secret, and it is Ships. Once more with the XM. On the corner with a lot to do here. Nobody really in a position for a swift rotation. If Ships goes down fast, and he does, this lower site feels like it's very vulnerable indeed. Snobling with the opening, charging on out. And the CTs are scrambling to recover here. Rainwaker goes 1 for 1. They need more than that, however, and Denny can't provide a clean headshot. Leaves Patrick and Nicky stumbling, trying to work their way silently down the vent. Is not the player. Sitting duck for Divi. As LDLC have their second, they break the economy of Team 500, and suddenly it feels like we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, apologies, was having some issues, but all smoothed out now, and indeed, despite a strong start from Team 500, LDLC take what is a crucial gun round to likely give them a shot and maybe even tying things up. We'll see whether 500 are willing to force the issue here in this next round, with a couple players looking close to a double eco as well, they might consider it. Especially with an M4 being carried over from Nikki. Either way, a strong start from LDLC here on the T side, and it's going to be needed with this being their map choice. Inferno up next. There's a map sure that they can play, but I think it'll lean a little bit heavier towards 500.
After their initial CT spree, they have looked a little flat. These first 2 gun rounds, both of them have been, well, the first one was a little cheeky with a boost through the vent to pick heaven, but the second one felt well constructed. And as the full eco comes into this one, it should be a third without too many problems. Amanek and Gravity looking to farm up as well, as the Mac 10's just charging down the ramp. Taking that early control, reminiscent of the pistol. We'll see some aggression coming in here and there. Rainmaker has tried to take the lobby, as Nicky's trying to push the issue as well, but he can't quite find his shot. Gravity traced the initial death of 1. Rainmaker can't make that recovered AWP sing. With the man advantage at this point, despite 2 players being tagged down, 1 very significantly, it should just be a matter of cleaning up these remaining pistols, but it could get ugly yet. Denny and Ships with a headshot apiece to keep their team in this in 2-on-2. Snobbling down on 3 HP as well. This starts to get ugly, but they don't know where Amanek is. And that's going to be their undoing. Denny Store, the high HP player, goes down, leaving just a 16 HP Ships. A recovered rifle in hand. No armor, no kit, no nothing. Do you even start to think about this, or do you, see that AWP lying so temptingly on the ground and think, I'll have that, thank you very much? And look to Scarpa your way back down towards the ramp. Not a bad result, you have to say, Dean.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunate they couldn't get that extra finish on Snoblin, though. That would have maybe even tempted Ships to give things a go. In the long run, though, probably better that he is going to bring this up over, and in the end, he actually snatches up that kill either way. So the damage done to LDLC is pretty significant. They'll spend a lot of that excess cash now in this following round. That nade, though, probably going to be good enough, and there you have it. Ships goes down. Wasn't too sure if it maybe bounced back onto the other side of the box if he was lucky, but fortunately, it wasn't his day. 4-3 LDLC within just 1 round. If they manage to win out this gun round at this point, then a lead likely to come from it. So a big opportunity for them to start getting a strong advantage and a bit of momentum going here on their own map choice, which I think is going to be necessary because, as I said, Inferno likely to be a pretty scrappy one. I think they have any kits? No. That could be a small problem. We'll see whether it comes down to a retake or not. Quick outside control looks to be the initial goal here from LDLC. Try and get some presence around Secret. Only Nikki here to really say anything about that, and well, he actually will be gifted a kill there. Gravity rather, I think, getting flashed by his own teammate, and then a spam through the smoke to follow up catches Brooksy. A 5-on-3, no damage even sustained yet from Team 500, so they're in a fantastic position here in the early stages. They are still forced to rotate Patrick down because they're not sure if someone made it through Secret or not, but they have the numbers, they have the advantage in that regard, so it shouldn't leave too many holes in the defense.
Legged up Amanek as well. The anchor out towards lobby. Pressure down the ramp, however, will force Patrick to reconsider his angles. And again, this lower sight is the target. A 2-on-2 for the time being, and an important fight for Patrick to win. Bomb now looking a very isolated presence in towards control. Divvy on that AWP trying to get something going, but with 3-4 players converging on his position and Amanek really nowhere to be found at the moment. This feels like it is an absolute death sentence. The timings could well decide it at this point. Divvy gets his head taken. Nicky with the kill. And yeah, at this point, Amanek, he was in a really rough position, having been legged up so early in the round. Really needed him to be there to give a second prong to that lower sight take. Without it, it looks very tame. And well, veteran showing his experience here. He's got the money. Could have given it a go, but it's a 1v5. You're never going to land it. So keep your hands on the AK. Live to fight another day. Potentially live to drop a little bit more across to your teammates as well.
And a very good round to be picking up. Maybe a little bit of fortune from the second kill there in the initial moments from Nicky, but also LDLC. I think they got a little bit too loose with that attempted flash to push in towards Garage. And, well, Nicky capitalized on the mistakes. Let's see now if they can capitalize on that round window, because if they were to still just lose this round immediately following it, their money would be kind of still on edge. So it's not a position they want to find themselves in, and it's not a position LDLC want to let slip away from them. So I do believe this is going to be their tactical pause most likely. Snoblin sitting on 10 kills, everyone else on 3. Interesting. Again, not too familiar with most of these up-and-coming French players. I keep wanting to say Gravity when I'm looking at Gravity. Just 'cause it seems like a mixture of graffiti and gravity. It's the way I'm
Well,
reading it for some weird reason. There's a quick look at the VO in case you missed it. Oh, one moment.
things seem to be a little spicy, so we are going to throw back to the cameras while we fix that, of course, and just wait this one out, because that was definitely not what was meant to be on the screen. But it's an interesting first start to things, because initially, while you were off, getting your cups of tea and things, it was a 4-0. It looked very, very clean, very, very swift as well from Team 500. But the rifles have come out, and LDLC have got legs. They are looking very competent.
Yeah, a little jelly-like maybe in that previous round, but they're going to have their opportunity to recover after this break. Their economy's still fine, I believe. I think they had an op and all already purchased in there before the pause came in, so everything definitely present. They have an opportunity still to potentially knock down that CT economy. So it's still in those early rounds where we're going to find out who can really get control, or well, we may have one of those games where it just never really goes that way and we get a continuous back and forth. Not as common these days, I don't feel like.
No, the economy and the meta don't really support it anymore. It's much more standard, certainly, to just save it until you can get the rifles out, and both teams will lean into that more often than not. Didn't really see LDLC go for it. Second round force buy, followed by a bomb plant. They went straight for the AKs and Galils. Didn't actually end up taking a save until the 4th, which is a little bit odd, you will say, but to be fair, Tech9's current meta, you can see sort of the path of logic to going for it, and it very nearly did work. They charged straight in, they got a lot of heavy lifting done, and very nearly stole the round away the second to take the rifles. But hopefully we'll be back into the best of the action sooner rather than later, because it's not really been long enough for us to have anything to talk about, team.
Yeah, I'm presuming it's a technical pause, obviously, at this point. Otherwise, we'd probably be back in. Not too sure what the problem was. I didn't see anyone drop out of the server or anything like that, so hopefully it's just a small internet issue, maybe a little bit of loss that can be fixed in a couple minutes. Because, I mean, both teams are kind of finding their stride. You don't want to break in the action at such an important moment in the game, especially one of the longer ones where you're just sitting around antsy to get playing again. And then perhaps when you get back in, mistakes start to be made. We've seen that many a times.
Far too many of the times we've been here, far too often. I am just having a look. It looks like Spirit caught, not Spirit. Right, come on, right game, head in the game. LDLC, there we are. That's a team that are playing in this matchup. They've called a timeout about 3 minutes ago with the delay, so it looks like, unfortunately, it is gonna be a technical. I'm hoping we'll get a little more insight sooner rather than later. Apparently it looks like the server's gone kaput, which is a fantastic one. So hopefully, if the server's gone kaput, then we'll probably be here a little while. I'm just keeping an eye on the live server, because it does look like they at least managed to buy before it went dead, so it should be a relatively easy reset. Everyone's got rifles on the live server. Everyone's sort of sorted themselves out financially, because it's always the rough one when you've got one lad who saved from the previous round and then they can't quite restore it right because he saved and not everyone died, and then you have to do all of this. But it looks like the game is still being played, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a good old-fashioned live server cast while we wait for our GOTV to recover itself and get back into life. So it is 5-3. It is a full buy for both teams, and we have lost both Divi and Gravity now in round number 9 of this one. It looks like they tried to go for a fast upper hit, but that is utter guesswork, to be very honest with you. We're just playing timings and nothing else. And it looks like they managed to drag it back into a 2-on-2, Dean.
I don't know how I'm going to follow along with this, because mine is going really weird. It keeps bringing Divi back to life and he dies again. I don't know what the hell's going on with my bot. But yeah, I mean, initially seemed like it was around going the way of LDLC, and I might still do so. They've actually brought it down into a one-on-one. Fortunate we don't have GoTV at this moment. Snoblin, though, being the hero so far as well for LDLC, is the one that's left alone. So if you wanted anyone in the clutch, it probably would be him. Seems he's gotten the bomb planted as well. Fortunately, the radar doesn't show their positioning, So I don't know exactly where Denislav is coming from, and apparently I didn't need to. Snoblin had all the info for himself, so it looks like
Apparently we're
LDLC
back.
have got the important gun round, and we'll be getting back into the actual action now, so you don't have to listen to just their voices anymore. There's
Oh, how pretty.
some video games to accompany them.
Team 500 apparently found the response from that round, though, because they've now got 6, and Denny has continued to up his account up against the Pistols. That was very swift for a 7th as
Forgot
well.
that'd be massively delayed.
Yeah.
So we came back in and they were on a gun round and LDLC were eco, and I was like, how did this happen? But yeah, we of course were a round behind. Either way, I mean, LDLC still in a position where they can manage to grind out a pretty strong T-half. I mean, there's a decent few rounds left for them to try and add another couple here. This buy not quite perfect though, especially with Snoblin being the one that's left on a Mach 10. I mean, let's have a look at the scoreboard. He has 15 kills. The nearest then are Divi and Bruxy, who will have 5, and then 3 on Gravity and Amanek. So I'd give him one of those AKs for sure. See, Bruxy though, he's going to make his AK count. The shotgun to try follow up. It's good damage. Actually, the trades have managed to go back in favor of 500 just for a moment though, as Gravity, he crashes down on that A bomb site, and with that should confirm them pretty much the bomb plant. Weaponry, it's decent, but with an MP9 in play here as well, it's going to be a very difficult retake for 500.
Not sure how you even begin. Little bit of utility to maybe fashion something, but it's never a fun retake out of heaven onto this A site anyway. They've got no control anywhere else on the map, and well, with the T's now well set into their after plants, it feels like this should be a done deal. Extra AK recovered as well for Amanek. CT's trying to work their way out of heaven, and they're having none of it. Divi and Gravity combine for the kills, and well, the back and forth, long may it continue. LDLC have a 5th, and the economy once again looks to buckle for Team 500.
Yeah, this is all LDLC need. They're keeping them on their toes. The question is, can they fully push them over at this point? Because the economy is completely expended. You see even a shotgun being pulled out from ships. Probably one of the better maps for the auto shotty for sure, so it won't hopefully hold them back too much, as he has been one of their top performers as well. Still, it's some limitations into the buy, and if they lose this round, 7 is all but confirmed nearly for LDLC. I think they realize how much pressure is on this round. Very slow round in comparison to what we've been seeing overall from LDLC. Maybe expecting a weaker buy.
Waiting out a bit of aggression to a certain extent as well. We've seen it pretty frequently. Ships has pushed up hut with that XM. We saw the MP9 doing the same. And knowing, of course, that the economy will be on tenterhooks for this CT side, so able to wait out that initial burst of utility, and you can see where it leaves Team 500 now. Couple of mollies, couple of smokes, couple of flashes, not a lot else. So as we see LDLC start to work this outside control with a very deep wall of smokes, there's really nothing the CT side can do about it. Denny Store, however, has found himself a gap. He's got 2 through it. The spray control is good on the A1S. Divi responds, but not in time. And the man advantage now as Ships looks to continue pushing. The issue will be caught though. Amanek expecting it, seen it a few too many times, and the trades continuing to just about scrape by for LDLC. 30 seconds left. They want the lower site, and there's no one home to protect it. It will be heard on the drop, but it will be a bomb plant as well. Time now for this T side to try and hold on. Very nearly caught in transition, but Divi gets away with it, and now Amanek in that close dark position can start to scheme his way into this. One Molotov for Patrick to potentially clear that corner, but it's going to be a game of timing. So well set crossfire for LDLC to try and hold this one down, as now the CT's working their way into the site. Amanek yet to show his hand, yet to swing. Molotov goes in to clear the doors. That'll keep Divi busy, but Patrick's confusing right in the grasp of Amanek, who tucks tail, hides himself deep into the corner, and now with the molly gone, there's nothing to protect Rainwaker. A 1v2, the bomb is almost all the way gone, and LDLC find themselves the round that will break the economy of the CT side.
Yeah, well played with such low health as well. I mean, if that molly went in on Amanek in the back corner instead of towards the doors, even at that point, they probably would have been able to win that retake. A little bit of fortune definitely on their side, but they're just incredibly well played with the timings and realizing really that they couldn't give too much away. As I mentioned before, that likely gives LDLC a 7th round. Only a single nade being bought up here, so they'll have to be incredibly well placed to try and let these USPs have the advantage that they're hoping to find from it. And unfortunately, while it does bring Amanek down to 40, I don't know how much that'll give them overall. That's just the Mac 10 player scouting out the lower half of the map, and well, he confirmed at least one player. There was a second near as well. I'm not sure if he spotted him. Either way, a Mac 10 retrieved by ships. It's something at least to work with. Perhaps if he can get 1 or 2 kills, it'll help build that economy as well towards an op. So,
Yeah,
looking for the silver linings.
I'm not sure about that from Amanek, to be honest. I mean, I get he was hopefully maybe drawing a rotation, but the rest of the team was so slow off the back of it that it's not really done anything. They may still get away with it as 4 of them look to work their way in towards ramp, and currently it's completely unoccupied by the CT side. But it feels like Team 500 should work this out sooner rather than later. They got Aggression coming into the lobby now, who might be able to catch the lurking Gravity. Brooksy, though, starts to take down the A players, and now there's the opportunity to potentially double back into heaven. Nicky looking isolated again with just that USP, and there is timings all over the shop here. They're actually going to dive down into the lower site. Ship's not really in a position to contest, but Denny's grabbed another. Gravity caught looking the wrong way, and as they try and make their way out onto this site, it's at least on as even. An AK still in the hands of Denny Slaw as well, starts to make this feel just that little bit uglier as the Mac 10 now swings, and oh my goodness, very nearly finds the kill. Patrick will at least convert. At this point, they should be able to clean up, and they will, but Team 500 continuing to make every round expensive.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, though, which doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, because this is the final round. LDLC still have what they need, while they are just barely edging out these rounds, and it's probably not doing a ton for confidence, considering how little they're against. It is still round wins that are going their way at the very least, and it's given them a very strong T side. The question is now, can they take an 8th and actually have the lead going into that second half? After initially, of course, going down 4-1, wasn't it? It would be a fantastic recovery. Chips is just loving his auto shot. Didn't have much of a choice this time around, but even earlier on when he could have got the M4, he was going with it.
It's been working. I don't blame him. The one map where it's really viable.
The 14 though for a while.
Oh, Brooksy with a lethal headshot, and the fast A take off the back of it is just brilliant. 3 quick kills, round is done. I mean, they can give it a go. They'll have to give the retake a go, but if you're Rainwaker and Nicky, how do you even begin to conjure up a retake from this? The nades to chip away a little bit, but a refresh of the smokes makes it all the more difficult. The crossfires are well established. The T side are not giving anything away here. Yet more utility to try and run that bomb clock down. Rainmaker and Nicky forced to wait out both the smokes before they can do anything. And at this point, Nicky's position now known. They'll start to swing. Snobbling gets the first. Snobbling gets them both. 8-7 as we head into the halftime. LDLC with the lead, heading onto the CT side of Nuke, no less. You have to say, Dean, it feels like it should be a slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's LDLC. I mean, they definitely have that momentum and all. This is their map choice, but still 500 are the sort of team where I think once they swap over to that T side and they're controlling the pace themselves, they could just flip on a switch out of nowhere. They have the players and the capability for it. So I don't want to pass a judgment too soon, I suppose, is what I'm getting at. It is a fantastic start to the team that we were pretty unsure about coming in, just because we haven't had the experience of actually watching most of these players play before.
Definitely looked like they had an idea of how they wanted to execute into Nuke and have found a way to make it work.
It's always more impressive after an initial stumble as well.
Yeah, that ability to get yourselves back in the game economically and back in your own heads as well. Underrated, as we watch the teams warm up for the second half, of course. And if you weren't here at the start, we've got Inferno up next, followed by Overpass. 2 maps that I think 500 are going to be feeling very confident on. 2 maps that certainly the statistics suggest they should be feeling very confident on. So by no means is losing this map, losing LDLC's map pick, a death sentence for 500. But it does just give LDLC that little bit more breathing room, right? And on a map like Inferno, a well-drilled team, which is what LDLC are certainly presenting here on Nuke, can always cause problems. There's always a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they haven't played it nearly as much as 500 have, and their stats haven't been as strong, even with the lower number of maps as an example as well. But as you said, it's impressive what they're doing here on Nuke right now on a map that 500 also play quite a bit, have also played more often in the last few months. So I'm definitely not going to be doubting LDLC and what they can do. Those stats are kind of hard to go off of as well, because sometimes when you're playing against random teams in advance and such that you can't prepare for quite as much, things can be a bit more surprising in comparison to having the ability here to look into 500. It's players they've probably played against in the past, at least Amanek would have. So we'd have more of an idea, I guess, as to what to expect coming into the VM.
Better idea of the approach and how they play. Yeah, you're spot on with that. Taking their time with the halftime breaks, as they're entitled to, a good old 3 minutes. Should be back.
To be hitting those mollies.
Well, get some nade practice in. It's always good. Got rid of those dreadful 1v1 servers.
I believe we're actually going to send it over to a break for a minute. We won't be long though, because we've already got most of that done, so we'll be back in just a minute or two.
And we are back. A juicy halftime break there to keep you all wanting more, but we are back into the action. LDLC headed onto the CT side with the slenderest of leads, but one that could very quickly get out of control if Team 500 cannot wrestle their way back into this one. Early utility, just to fake a drop out of the vents. It's actually drawn 2 players from LDLC already down to meet. As the bomb is going to drop right into the crosshairs. Divvy just able to take the head off of one, make it a second before he's traded, and a little bit of misjudgment there, you have to say, from 500, as now that bomb is out on an island. Denny desperate to try and stay alive for as long as he can. If he dies down here, it all goes wrong. Broxy takes the dink on the chin and waits for backup to join him, and there's the trade. 1-for-1, bomb down in the lower site, and here's the recovery effort. Rainwaker with the first. CT's now scrambling to get into position in the 2-on-2, but potentially leaving that upper site wide open for business. Ships has called it. Right as Gravity and Amanek take lower, the bomb will go out down on upper.
Yeah, should give them plenty of time to position for the afterplant as well. Surprisingly, just putting it down here towards heaven, despite not having actual control up there. Could have maybe put it a bit wider for Ships to be able to play off of, although he's just going to find contact immediately with both players. The Glock up close always has that immediate advantage. Amanek, though, with a trade, did manage to at least bring it back into the one-on-one, but he's unaware that he's being flanked right now. The door was open, and Rainwaker, I like the approach. Let his teammate take the initial contact, sneaks through in behind, and obviously it's not going to be expected, having just cleared out that position. What a crazy round, though. The way it starts out here in towards the vents, the Glocks then just caused chaos down in secret once they get close and personal, and in the end, they managed to somehow recover the situation, and as you said, get themselves the lifeline that was very needed here. Otherwise, things could have started to spiral out of control pretty early on in this half. Yeah. LDLC have gone for the force as well, so
I thought that smoke and HE combo was going to fake the lower drop, but they then actually committed to it. Very nearly got caught, as you said. Got away with it, however, and now up against the force buy. It's always a scrappy one for a CT side to try and contend with. Majority of pistols, scout, and an MP9, the only significant upgrades on the board. And, well, already outside control is taken, so Gravity's going to have to respect it. Has to play towards that lower site. Rest of the T side just slowing down the initial approach, hoping to bleed a little more utility out. Maybe sniff out the stack before they commit fully to the execute. Minute left on the clock as the scout starts to ring out. The bomb does start to work its way towards that ramp. A lower site split looking increasingly likely as Snobbling can't land his first shot. Ramp room control is taken. Up close and personal, though. The 5-7 of Gravity grabs both of the kills, and all of a sudden this hit starts to look very one-dimensional. Gravity on an upgrading Galil as well has the potential to do it all, but he can't find the shot. Denny Slaw on the reactions, able to grab it. Patrick deals with the scout as well. Not over yet. Amanek, with Broxy alongside, has managed to take down the ramp flank. And he buys just a little bit of space. Not enough, however. Rainwaker's AK sings out. And for Broxy, a 1v2 Deagle clutch on his plate. Out towards that ramp. He's worked his way down without being spotted up close. Now, though, he's been seen and dealt with. Very, very nearly for LDLC. Gravity with a little bit of magic on the 5-7. But just needed one more kill out of the rifle, and he couldn't quite get it.
yeah, that was nasty. I mean, if not for the immediate return through smoke here from Denislav, if they were held off that lower bomb site, if that had forced them to slow things down completely, and they could have actually sat and utilized that 5-on-3 advantage, then that round could have gotten incredibly scary. Instead, 500 kind of done a good job managing to play off of the chaos then towards that lower bomb site while LDLC were still rotating and such. And just narrowly saved the round. Definitely not as clean as they would have hoped for, so this one's going to have to make up for it. Keeping all 5 alive would be the way to go. It's only a few pistols they're up against. Snoblin and Gravity again, though, managing to make it costly. And Ivy joining in also now with a dink on the Rainwaker. This is actually winnable as Denislav pushes the smoke. That was completely unnecessary. The bomb was close to him as well. He should have been recovering that and bringing it back towards the bomb site.
Instead, it's Rainwaker. Play the timing of a fading smoke. Fakes out that bomb once. Divvy grabs the AK. Hightails it through the smoke. Can't rein in the spray, but he can eventually. Takes him longer than it should have done, but LDLC get a miracle round, Dean, out of absolutely nothing. A couple of upgraded pistols. The fast upper pot from Team 500 walks into the stack, and in amongst the carnage, the pistols get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that was a miracle. There were some mistakes made. Denislav had no reason to push that smoke over towards main. He's having a decent game kills-wise. Maybe wanted to see if he could catch up with Rainwaker, rather, because I can't see why else he would have done that in 2-on-1 with his teammate low. Knowing they're up against the weaker weapons as well. Just play it safe. They would have almost certainly had the round win. They could have just easily at least traded each other. Instead, now their economy has been completely destroyed. They're forcing him with just pistols and a bit of utility. A little bit more maybe than they thought they would have, but still, it's a chance for LDLC to start running away with a CT lead here.
Ugly buy. Looking for the upper take as well. Utility will come in, as you said, a little bit more than maybe you'd expect. They've got enough for a couple of flashes to maybe get themselves out here. But the Tech-9s are going to have to sing, and they're going to have to work very, very quickly. Trying to wait out this CT utility as well. Hoping that by the time they finally hit this upper site, there won't be many nades left to stop them. Ships and Denny to throw. And away we go. Molotov's through, flashes to follow. Amanek in with an early pick though, and Broxy up close will be traded. Amanek next up, low HP, and his Divvy trying to charge into this site, trying to deny that bomb plant. It's a leg and no more. The bomb will go down. They've bought themselves half a chance here. A man advantage. Rifles to be salvaged as well. In amongst the chaos, though, they line up for the P250. And Divvy just about lands the shot. Rainwaker nearly with the 1v3. But it's the last man up on the AWP who lands the critical kill. LDLC have their double digits. The economy starts to buckle again for Team 500. And I mean, this is just the scrappiest of Nuke games, Dim.
Yeah, that was nasty. I mean, if the drop was maybe even happened in a second later, would have given them time to try and reset the shot, and maybe that 1-on-3 would have been winnable. But this is crazy. 500 seem to have a little bit more fight in them on those pistol rounds than they do with the full rifles, and they seem willing to just keep on forcing in right now. I mean, I can somewhat understand it because you don't want to take an eco, you don't want to let LDLC get an 11-9 lead on the CT side, and if you can manage to win this one, you know their economy is completely out the window, so there definitely is reasons to buy, but it's very risky. Definitely realizing that themselves, having a bit of a chat. Hopefully not another tech issue. No, definitely not. We've got the pause removed this time. Couple weaker weapons though for LDLC. Probably, well, maybe expecting the eco. Obviously they were somewhat limited anyway. They'd have to get some weaker weapons, but I think they could have maybe went with the FAMASs instead. I guess happy enough to keep those close range and just have the extra utility.
If they'd shifted a couple of mollies, maybe drop the HEs as well, could have been able to get it across the line. Interesting to see if Team 500 can find a way to punish it. Have prioritized firepower over just about everything. Denny with the little bit of utility, ships alongside. And they will be able to get the outside smokes out at the very least. They'll start to take that bit of control. You'll see looking to boost a man back up into heaven as Gravity toying with some aggression through these smokes. Spam instead not connecting. And this is where it gets a little bit sketchy for this CT side now. They've conceded the outside control. 4 players for Team 500 now working their way in towards Secret. Looking for the off-angle boost, and Amanek gives it to them. Jump peeking for it. Patrick catches the timing. And as LDLC swarm into this lower site, they're not going to be there quite in time. This bomb should go down, but Divvy swinging on it, catches Denny in transition. Buys his team a 4-on-4. That bomb still to be recovered. No utility to get it down. Not that it matters. Rainwaker catches both of the aggressions in towards lobby. And at this point, the CT side, oh, it's all falling apart. They're not clearing their corners. Patrick is punishing every movement. And Divvy, well, he's just trying to hold on to his AWP, or is he? He wants more, and he's got an isolated fight. Divvy finds 3, and there's nobody even close. Rainwaker charging down, has got to swing now if he wants to deny it. Divvy lands the shot. LDLC, they are not making this easy for themselves, but they got their 11th round.
Ace clutch from Divi. I mean, again, we didn't know what to expect coming into this game. We looked at the stats. It looked like Amanek has been playing relatively well for them. Divi, he was definitely the exception with I think a 1.14 rating compared to everyone over the last like couple months. So I did expect to see him up towards the top of the scoreboard, but not putting in rounds like that. That's amazing. Let's see if he can keep it up. I mean, another upper maybe to look at in the French scene in the future.
Surely they can't make
Or
another
a main
one.
Tech 9 player. After that previous round. That forced the pause out of Team 500, understandably so. Are they going to keep the pressure on? Do they want to keep on buying? I mean, again, only one player survived, but... And the only reason LDLC won the round was an ace clutch from one man. Is that a reliable way to keep on winning rounds? Team 500, no, they could force the rifles just like they did before. Is it worth it, though? Because at this rate, they're not going to get a real gun round at any point.
It's right on the limit now. It's right on the edge of what they can do, right? They're going to get something into it. Rainmaker has invested, and it's almost tempting them into it. The fact that LDLC just can't quite get a handle on the situation. The problem is they've just got a little bit more bank on that CT side, just a little bit more starting cash every time. So for them, it's, oh, I'll get mostly rifles and good utility. For Team 500, it's I'll get some rifles and pretty shoddy utility at that. Because again, they're going to try and scrape something together. The possibility is, of course, if they can get just one of these rounds over the line, it will break the bank of LDLC, and that gap will narrow very quickly, and they have been close on more than one occasion. They have given themselves the opportunities. If not for the magic of Divi in the previous, this would be a very different picture. And they're going to give it another go. 1 AK this time, 3 Galils and a tech to flank it. A little bit of utility. Once again, to try and maybe get those outside smokes going in the opening moments. But Gravity, this time, looks like he's playing out towards Africa. The perfect position to potentially shut this one down nice and early. Indeed, he is tucked into this corner. Trigger discipline's going to be everything, but he's checked by Patrick. That's a rifle as well. An extra gun to give to the cause. The man advantage found, and what do you look to do here? It's the same call. Down through Secret, the lower site, the target, and the CTs, they want this action. 2 players now pushing through Secret. It's going to be Brooksy and Amanek trying to use both of those MP9s up close and personal. They need more than one, and they can't land it. Divi and Snobbling a mile away. The rotation's going to be caught in transition by Rainmaker. And, well, Divi, he wasn't even committing to rotating. He says, I'm not giving you another 1v5. I'm backing out to spawn, as it will be a 10th. And it should be a hunt as well for this AWP from Team 500.
Yeah, I mean, it finally pays off, these force buys, but what a crazy round. Those MP9s, as you said, just not getting enough done in towards Secret, and Divi this time around not really being there to throw out an ace clutch. This is how the previous round really should have went if not for Divi.
I love how utterly terrified Team 500 are right now. They've spent 20 seconds clearing everything as a 3-man set down towards lower.
Just in
before
case.
They even risked getting that bomb plant off. They are still shaking from the ace clutch from Divi in the previous.
Yeah, on the other hand, he's actually just set up camp all the way back in the spawn. Not interested in potentially losing such a valuable weapon when his teammates are going to be likely just stuck to pistols in the following round.
You'd expect it to be hunted
500
down
hunting.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be Patrick, though, considering his health.
He's got flashes for Rainmaker potentially to get him into this angle. It's a fairly common one. There's the flashbang, but Divi's up for it with the timing. At this point, just about staying alive, and he's doing a good job of that. 2 quick kills. Now the rifles start to look a little slim for Team 500 as well. And they will have to concede it. So AWP at the very least saved across something to work with. The question is, will it be enough? Because Team 500, as you said, they've been close time and again, and now they've finally managed it. They've broken the economy. If they can get past this saved AWP, they level things out. And even then, the cash isn't going to be great for the CT side.
Kind of in a position where at least one player, though, is on the double eco. Amanek is basically on one as well. Having the op saved over, I think, will likely tempt them to just drop one rifle here and hopefully be able to get something done. I mean, you can have two MP9s again. Gravity has been nuts with the pistols at points, so I think it could be a justified buy. Or they're just going to go for the eco and come into the next round. The only problem is then if they have already lost the op, they're going to be putting the money back into that. You're still going to have two players likely on weaker weapons, or at least sacrificing all of their utility to get rifles. So it really is a tough decision to make either way. Spreading out the love though. Divvy dropped his nades over to his teammates. Brooksy got the smoke, I believe, and Gravity got the molly. Puts it down early to stop that vent drop from coming in. That's to ensure that Divvy can actually make it over to Secret, which is a bit of a change-up. I don't think we've seen him take that angle as of yet, so he might be able to catch them off guard with the op in that position. Especially as a small bit of damage is actually dealt out by the USP is on the cross. Dennis slapped down to 51.
Bad. Not bad.
Considering they didn't see anyone, yeah.
They have stacked this lower side, but Divvy can't hit the shot, and now it's just USPs. They're trying to get what they can done. And Brooksy will grab a second. Playing this headshot angle, Ships is playing a dangerous game, and Brooksy gets the double. Nicky knows he's got to try and hunt his man down, but that's left the AWP recoverable. Snobbling now with his hands on that, and this could get very ugly. Rainmaker is screaming that the upper site is the target, and you need to get up here now, and they will just about manage it. Team 500 playing with fire there. Brooksy with a genius little play on that USP to give his team a chance. He's recovered an AK as well now. That nade will do work. And the crossfire is established. No utility to try and sniff it out whatsoever. Makes it all the more difficult for this CT side. Snobbling looks to clear his corners. He's caught in transition. And at this point, Brooksy, it's a big call to try and swing that AK in, and he'll be punished for it. We level things out at 11-all. But once again, it's that economic battle, and LDLC have done a solid job at chipping away at the T sides as well.
Yeah, but that was crazy. I would have preferred if they maybe initially took these pistols on the point of contact and let the op be kind of tucked away so that you could catch them once they're all in disarray, dealing with multiple pistols peeking them. It seemed maybe a little bit preemptive to have the op taking the initial fight. Either way, they managed to make it relatively costly. Coming in here again, as I mentioned before, with multiple weak weapons. A little bit worse than I expected in terms of firepower, because they really want that utility. We'll see whether that pays off or not, because already the initial kill on outside found by Ships. Not allowed to cross, though, as they didn't put down a second smoke. So Divvy did have vision. Even without that op, is able to take the long-range kills. So 4-on-4. Normally a position I'd say is favorable for 500, but Nicky's been tagged up pretty heavily, and without any actual control towards outside, they've all just been forced back to the lobby for now.
It's been well read as well by the CT side. Currently 2 players posted for it. Timing of this could be everything, and oh, then he catches not only the kill, but a tag onto Amanek as well. Brings him down nicely into the one-shot headshot range for these Galils. And again, with the man advantage now there. Starting to try and push the issue, knowing they've got to get something done. Divvy will at least trade it, but it's still ascendancy for this T side. Amanek yet to really pounce, yet to really try something. And, well, Team 500 will just death ball this one out. It's going to be Divvy on that ramp. Asked for another clutch. Asked for another big play. He's fired off a couple shots. They're swarming all around him. They try and charge him down. Divvy's got one, but immediately the trade is in. At the very least, he manages to dink up Denny's Law. Buys a little bit of something for Amanek. A HP discrepancy to work with, and Amanek has made his way ahead of the molly. He's caught potentially the only timing he could get, and he's got the kill. The high HP of Rainmaker is gone, and it's all onto the AWP of Denny's Law. Bomb not planted for him either. Amanek starts to piece this one together. Charging out, he knows where to look, and he rips the head clean off. The run and gun of the MP9 steals away around with limited firepower. And it's a round that once again puts Team 500 into this no man's land, halfway between a force and a full buy, where they will try and scrape something together, Dean. This game is going down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, though, how some of these rounds are playing out. A lot of the more one-sided ones are when Team 500 do manage to actually win a round, but when LDLC are taking their round wins, it tends to be really close, and they're edging out a lot of these clutch situations, which isn't really what we were expecting with Team 500 having the more experienced player-wise. LDLC are the ones who managed to keep on coming out on top in these clutches. Another pause again from 500. They haven't been too shy with the pauses, which is a good thing to see at the very least. I don't recall the older iterations of these lineups being so happy to take pauses. So much on the line here, of course, with, I believe this being the final spot on the line, so lose it, you're back down, you're trying again next season to get yourself up to the Challenger League, take the wind, and you're playing with some of the best. Ooh, Brooksy's trying the auto shot, you know.
Scrappy
See if he can do it as well as Ships.
It's one of the few maps where that is genuinely viable. Gives you a little bit of a pressure release as well. Only 2,000 as opposed to the 29 or 33 you're looking at for a full-blooded rifle. Again, a scrappy buy from this T side. Denny thinking about swinging this angle with bomb on his back. It would be lethal. Nade goes in to chip away. And again, there's limited utility really for this T side to make a decision, and Divi, knowing it, is being proactive, catches the corner of an arm, and Ships goes down. The roaming AWP getting it all done outside with 2 quick kills. Single-handedly decimates the second prong of this offensive, and now Brooksy on that auto shotgun will start to sing. LDLC, they found their feet as Denny Slaw is last man up. Nothing he can do from inside of the hut. It's 13. And a precious 13th as well, as it breaks the economy of Team 500 and gives LDLC finally an opportunity to stabilize.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like it could be towards the end now for 500. They had put so much effort into those early rounds to get the force buy and eventually win one of them and crack the economy with LDLC, only for them not to be able to hang on because of some ridiculous clutches from the likes of Divi and Amanek. So they've got to be slightly frustrated now, stuck on just Glocks, a single P250, likely to concede a 14th round, giving them just one more true gun round here to try and get back on their feet. Glock causing a bit of damage to Divi, makes them think about re-peeking for sure. It does at least give a bit of ground to Team 500 here. They get up close and personal, maybe they can overwhelm with those Glocks, but the problem is they run into the 1 MP9 that's in play. That's perfect for Snoblin though. He's enjoying building up the bank at the moment, and he should get one more. There it is, an upgrade even over to one of the AKs. Unfortunately, losing a couple teammates in the process though.
Yeah, it was a little more expensive than it should have been, but that pretty much summarizes this whole map so far, so we're not going to think too much into it. And it starts to get towards do or die time now for Team 500. 14-11 down. This will be the last full buy if it goes wrong. Only 2,900 on the loss bonus counter. Really starts to feel like they've just lost control in these last few moments. This whole map has just started to get away from them. Need a plan to get back into it. For now, it's almost entirely focused on this lobby presence, and Amanek spamming through the smoke will deal with that. Goes down to a single point of health to the counter spam, but that's not to be known by Team 500. That's a man advantage and nothing else. LDLC will take it with open arms, potentially even bog downing that AWP over if they want to. As Team 500 forced to rethink the plan once again.
Looking, I think, to move back and see if they can get some ground, maybe towards outside. Extra smoke here as well. The ships should be able to recover. Amanek so low on health here as well. It's definitely still a very, very hostile position for LDLC despite the man advantage. And well, Divi's only able for one, gets his head caught just as he tries to drop and put himself back towards B. Ravido pushing the smoke, catching one outside. It's just chaos really all over. No one was ready for the full commitment. They do manage to start their rotations, though. It prompts them to hit this A bomb site. But it didn't matter. They came right back up the vent. They still had a player up in heaven. There was another, I believe, up on the rafters as well. So stepping into a triangle of doom there, really. Giving a 15th round over to LDLC and leaving 500 just scraping together some SMGs and maybe one rifle. No, at best it'd be a Galil for ships, and he decides against it.
Triangle of Doom may well have doomed this whole map. Team 500, they've been scrapping, they've been scraping their way to rounds, but now it's 4 map points for LDLC to play with, of course, on their map pick of Nuke, so make of that what you will. But with just Mac 10s and Tech 9s, it's gonna be one last desperation play from this T side. Leaning into the upper execute. A kitchen sink of utility available. As we wait patiently for the moment. Refresh of the smoke towards the squeak. Might make them rethink things, but they'll just wait it out. Well placed, ready to hit this site, but there's presence, plenty of it as well. 2 players playing inside of the site itself. Divvy, fast rotation to heaven. Gravity still playing close to these vents, but he ducks down right as they look to pop one out. And it's going to be down to these few rifles, the mollies licking at their feet. There's damage all over the shop. There's 2 quick kills before there's any kind of a trade. Denny and Rainwaker trying to make something of this. And Rainwaker's got a gap around the edges of his own smokes. He's managed to find one, make it a double on a recovered M4. That may well have saved the day. LDLC, Snobling's on a long old flank here, but Rainwaker is already alive to the threat. Watching for the possibility. Will get his head taken off. 1v2 now for Snobling to try and work out. Aggressive hut control taken by Denny Store is going to be a real problem, though, and Ships potentially even able to nab an AWP from heaven. From the corpse of Snobling's fallen teammate Divvy makes this all the tougher. Snobling wants the fight, he wants the hut aggression, but Denny Store has slipped the net through to Squeak. The timings are going to be ugly, surely. Snobling gets 1, and at this point the bomb is too far gone. It will be 12. Team 500 will live to fight another day, Dean.
Yeah, unfortunately, if he had a molly or even a smoke he could have put towards heaven, then when he taps the bomb, he likely does actually pull that player out from the door or even in through hut to take a peek and could have forced the hand, I suppose, of the terrorists on the afterplant instead. Just didn't really have the time to force the situation. A good bit of damage, at least. I mean, he takes out a couple players, manages to still save over his own rifle. They have a pretty decent economy here. They, of course, do spend everything, but they've got all the firepower and utility really they could ask for. It's not like LDLC are done. They'll have another good opportunity here to close it, but if they lose this one, that's when overtime starts to actually look pretty likely. See if 500 have it in them. Looking like they want quicker outside control. We've already had 1 player for LDLC. Did he cross in the secret, or is he just in the back of garage? No, sorry, he's in the back of garage. I thought he crossed into upside the stairs. Not quite the case. Not as fast on the control this time around either from 500. Happy to sit back, maybe expecting someone to push up outside again.
Little more respect on each side. Able just to hold off in these initial moments, as you said, Team 500 trying to work their way into that outside control. Leading the utility slowly but surely out of this CT side. Now the wall of smokes goes out, but is the garage player still lying in wait? Gravity, if he can catch half a timing here, he could stop this whole split. It is going to be the upper site. Now the utility comes in. Gravity not quite able to backstab in the way he would have wanted, but Amanek will react well. Grabs a couple of quick kills. Orpa next up will chip away, however, and Ships finds another, buys his team the man advantage. Divvy on a long old flank, but it's already been read by Denny Store. This should be job done, and indeed it is, leaving just Gravity. In a 1v3, he's caught half a timing to get into main. He's got a 1 free kill on his plate, takes that immediately. Knows there's at least an AWPer in towards main, but little does he know, Ships has worked his way out. Heaven and will have the freebie. 15-13 as the economy breaks for LDLC, and this one's going all the way to the wire.
Yep, 1 last eco here, and then 1 attempt at a gun round to try and actually put an end to this. Otherwise, it's going to be the overtime, and, well, it would be fitting. I mean, this on paper looks to be one of the closer maps between the two. Out of all 3 that we've seen, Overpass definitely has the potential to be a really close affair as well. Inferno looks like it should be 500s. So LDLC do want to take this and keep the potential for a 2-0 out of their hands, of course. And I think we're getting an LDLC pause. One of the first ones in a while. Had been mostly 500, I believe, that were in the position of being on the back foot. But yeah, they have no money for anything at all, so I would imagine the focus is mostly on this next round. Maybe some sort of crazy push here, try and pinch in towards the lobby. They don't even have P250s, which is what would make that viable, rather. So should be an easy enough round. 157, one smoke. Actually, that's what they have for just up in the end. Quick drop down the vent already, and yeah, okay, they basically got control of B already.
Yeah, this is one of those. Round is done. Hamanek will hope that maybe someone wanders into the crosshairs of the 5-7, and there it is. An expensive one to go for it as well, Ships. AWP dropped. There is more players there to try and make sure it's not recovered. Rainwaker working his way deep into spawn's been spotted. Hamanek might now be able to try and make a play for that AWP. He's managed to dink Rainwaker up as well. Forces him back deeper and deeper. Drops a defensive smoke. They're making this as expensive as they possibly can here, the CT side. Rainwaker, though, will live to fight another day as Patrick takes the final kill. And this is it. One round to decide if we need overtime between these two rosters or if LDLC will be able to get their own map pick done in regulation. As we said, Inferno up next, a daunting prospect. And not a good buy to try and get it over the line either. The hero of this map, Divi, not able to get his favoured AWP. Snobbling dropping down onto the MP9 up against a full belt of AK-47s. What did Team 500 call in this critical round?
It's mostly just being the default and then seeing what they can find on the picks. And, well, that looks to be the play once again, with a bit more aggression, though, over towards outside, surprisingly from Ships, because there was another player behind them that could have followed up a little bit easier if he wanted to. I think was maybe focused on the garage, expecting him to force a peek there, but unfortunately, it just means Divi gets the opening kill. No chance for a return. Gravity as well, peeking up from Secret, snatches the head, or snatches the kill on Dennis Love, rather. Wasn't quite the headshot either way. A fast kill comes through. He doesn't take any damage from it. And now with a 5-on-3, they can kind of calm things down here on the CT side. Try and just make sure they play off of each other. I believe they're aware no one actually fully made it across outside either. They've had eyes on it at all points.
Yeah, well positioned now. Flashes as well to enable further peaks. Team 500. A little bit lost at sea here. No real control. Gonna look to group back in towards the lobby. No picks given up either. LDLC running a tight ship, not giving anything away in this 3-on-5 that they've managed to craft their opposition. It's a tricky old puzzle to break. Gravity playing an off angle down this ramp as well. There is a couple of timings on the board here. Gravity has started to work his way into lower. He'll hear the drop, but not in time. Patrick gets the first. In need of a lot more where that came from, but the utility will come out. The lower site will be taken. It's going to have to be a retake from this CT side. Snobbling with the only kit. No real utility to get this done either. It's going to be fights across the board that will either make or break this for the CT side. 3 towards the ramp. Make it all 4 as they group up, just hoping to trade this cleanly. They know that's what they've got to do. It's 2 quick kills. Make it a third, surely. Somehow, Nicky alive for a few more seconds. He's taking it on the chin. Desperately low on health, though, and he can't quite hold on. Brooksy on the recovered kit will have enough time to get it done, and it will be 16-14 LDLC by the skin on their teeth, getting their map pick and nuke over the line.
Yeah, I kind of had faith in them, though, that we were going to get the overtime there at the end. Not going to lie, up until the moment where GoTV ruined the first and third person score. But yeah, I mean, they done a good job at managing to recover after a slow start initially on the map and then stumbling again in the middle. They were always fighting in from behind, but I mean, I would be happy with that if it was 500's map. Unfortunately, it was LDLC's map choice. Now they're going on to Inferno. It puts 500 in a position to potentially take this 2